English translation, 335th contact. Sunday, 9th of February 2003, 17:20 hours.
You seem surprised that I visit you again today. But the situation requires it, as Pa says, and has also instructed me to bring you his words, for which he asks you to include them in your third special bulletin. He has also instructed me to tell you that he considers your remarks in our conversation from the 3rd of February to be good and correct, and that, as you have explained, you should, of course, publish them in the bulletin.
Well, I will do that. But there is something else. Since you came back after your departure on the 3rd of February to give me some more information you forgot to mention, this short conversation is of course not included in the contact conversation anymore. We talked about this today in the kitchen, and Louis asked whether your statement was in the contact report, which I have already called up and written and put in print. But your explanation is not included in it.
It concerns the statement regarding your first special bulletin, if I understand correctly.
Ketzel would now say that is of the correctness. So if you could mention it again?
You mentioned that you sent the first special bulletin by email to all the people in charge of the UN organization. The second special bulletin was also posted and went to the relevant authorities, as we have found out. Through our checks, we have found that various government officials of various earthly states have read these bulletins and become very thoughtful. Due to the good response, translations into different languages have also been made. We have also noticed that both bulletins have been spread all over the world through the internet and are also being spread by others and persons who are strangers to you. In general, the whole thing has found great and joyful approval among those humans worldwide who enjoy reading the two bulletins.
I found out just a few hours later, after Stefan put everything on the net, that everything went around the world quickly. Several telephone calls from around the world confirmed to me that both bulletins were indeed welcomed by many humans. So I also had a phone call from Wuhan, which in China must be a province or a city, as I found out in the atlas. Anyway, many people were talking all around, and from what I heard, it must have been Chinese. A German-speaking man was on the phone and said, among other things, "Tu Sondel Bulletin Wundelball." Of course, I was very happy about this, because this phone call, as well as all the others, proves that all the work of our group is not useless, and that many people around the world share the same opinion as we do, and are also striving for love, peace, freedom, and harmony. But now please let us hear what Ptah has to say.
Ta's words are the following, as I let you hear them here. Note dated 23.7. 2005. Injana played a recording of Ta's own words to Billy. The hateful and vindictive machinations of the American President George W. Bush to start a war against Iraq are not only irresponsible, but in the greatest measure not only criminal against the Iraqi people, but in a large measure against the whole earthly humanity. Based on fear and addiction to power at the same time, the man, as a self-appointed divine representative, so to speak, dares to want to control the fate of humankind on earth, and to do so with inhumane means, such as deadly and destructive weapons and wars. Means with which the American heads of state have always boasted and had to answer for the fact that U.S. politicians and the U.S. military interfered in foreign states and became established in them. Of course, the Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein is no saint, nor is the great terrorist Osama bin Laden, nor the various leaders of various countries, but all of them together do not justify American warmongering. War is never a means of solving any problems, because war really means that new wars and even greater strife will result. The Earth's humanity must finally recognize this truth and be concerned that no more rulers get hold of. Governments that want to subjugate the human beings and the whole world and bring them under their rule by means of war, terror, torture, and other evil gewalt. Sawn as thus, Earth's humanity must stand together in unity and, by means of nonviolence, rid itself of its fallible, criminal, and criminally minded state powers and terrorists in such a wise that they are removed from office or seized by security forces in order to place them in safe custody. But such a banishment can only be in the form of a banishment for life, namely in a safe and hermetically sealed place of execution of the measure, such as on an island far away from civilization, from which the fallible have no possibility to escape. A procedure that also ensures that the fallible ones can no longer exert any influence or terror on any people or whole peoples. Also to the fact that the state and humanity criminal, as well as tens of thousands of mass murderers, Saddam Hussein is to be taken into Swiss exile by irresponsible and inexperienced politicians, as I have been informed, is an unforgivable action and an evil and unscrupulous request to the righteous Swiss population. The very thought of considering such a possibility is a criminal recklessness and a threat to Swiss security in general. In this respect, I agree in every respect with Billy's words of the 3rd of February 2003, and agree with everything that he and his comrades in arms have raised in the special bulletins. That is all I can say about that.
Thank Ptah very much.
I will do that. But now I have to go again, because I could only leave my task for a short time to report to you. Goodbye!
It is a pity, but that is how it has to be. Goodbye.